believe that this is the finale already?
I know.
I feel like it has really snuck up on us. But anyways, hi guys. Welcome to the season finale. We hope that you're as sad as we are to see this season coming to a close, but excited as we are to have Audrey with us tonight. And if you have not already seen the announcements, we are saying I do to our niche with Audrey McLamb from Unspoken Designs tonight. And this is going to be all about how to narrow down your niche in a saturated market and finding the best way to optimize your business model for success. So we've got a lot to cover, and before we dive in, I'm going to let Kelly take it over with some announcements.
Yes. So last week, I know some of you did some awesome things for our challenge. So our challenge was to make a video, a process video, but in your voiceover, actually just tell a story rather than explain a process. So we have a winner for this. So please, drum roll, please. And the winner is Amy from Amy's A Cut Above. And I think we have her video that we can show.
I feel like nobody is surprised.
Hey guys, I'm gonna tell you how this piece wasn't supposed to end up like this. So months and months ago, I bought a 6-foot piece of poplar that I cut down, glued together, sanded. I had all intentions of making a cute little cheese board. I was going to cut it out with my jigsaw and, well, I put it down and never touched it again. So I'm giving it a new life as a bottle opener.
Oh my gosh, that was
We're in the cinema. We're in a cinema.
Crazy.
Matt,
I was not expecting the crowd.
I'm crying, you guys. This was great. I love this. Congratulations.
Amazing. Oh my gosh.
Amy, you absolutely killed it. You had engaging storytelling, you had music, and you utilized different like video aspects. So many things that we've been teaching for the past 3 seasons, and you nailed it. We absolutely love your content. So thank you so much for participating, and you did a great job.
Yes, congratulations. There were so many amazing ones, by the way. So
no, it was hard to pick. It always is, but
it's always so hard to choose. You guys are all so incredible.
I know. But all right, moving on, guys. Welcome to episode 4, and thank you so much for watching all of season 3 with us. It is bittersweet, but our mission here is to create a place for the maker community. And I feel like we do that every single week, bringing this content straight to your home so that you can learn and grow alongside us and alongside each other. So to give you a little background on Audrey, our special guest for tonight, it's a small world. Audrey and I are childhood friends. We actually went to the same church and were within the same youth group growing up, and then ended up at the same college together. And her business kind of came onto my radar in college when she was doing home decor signs, and very talented. She was awesome. I loved watching her passions grow and change, and her business has grown so much since it first came on my radar. And I could go on and on, but Audrey is going to tell you best from her own words. So let's welcome on Audrey McLamb from Unspoken Designs.
Hey, Audrey.
Hi, Audrey.
Hi.
Hello. So excited to be here.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you're not just doing it as a personal favor to me. I hope it's also an honor to be with us and our audience.
Yes, it's so exciting. It really truly feels like a lifetime ago when we first met. Like, gosh, we were in preschool. So
we were literally tiny tots. We were like toddlers.
So kind of crazy that now we're both doing art full time. It's really fun to see your business grow and have friends in the community. So awesome.
Thank you so much. I feel like it used to be so rare that you would find someone doing art full time, and now like we're both doing it. Honestly, it's an inspiration, I feel like. But so we're going to be talking about how to help other people do that today. And the most basic of questions, of course, Audrey, how did it all start? Give us your business background.
I feel like it's kind of a crazy story on how I got started because I never really had any intention on doing art full time. It kind of just like fell into my lap. I started like goodness, it's been almost 4 years ago now. I went on an internship to the Philippines. I was going to stay for a couple of months, and people were sending me like support money. And I felt really bad kind of just taking their money and not giving them anything in return. So I made these like crummy little painting canvases. And
I
so
remember that.
when people would give me money, I would send them this canvas that I painted. And that was kind of all it was. And I thought that would be the end of it. But I come back from my internship after a couple of months, and people were still asking for them. So like, okay, well, I guess I'll keep making them if you guys really want them. And just like morphed into doing home decor signs. And then I really kind of honed in on weddings a little bit farther down the line. And I know we're going to get into a lot of that, but yeah, that's kind of how it all started. I actually got my college degree in health management. So this was really out in left field that I would do art full time, but here we are. So if that's not a testament that anybody can do it and you don't have to have a background in it, then I don't know what is.
That is crazy. And that is something that we definitely encourage, that you don't have to have a background and you don't have to have like a art degree or anything to make it as a full-time artist. So I love how inspirational that is, and that it started out as just something you're kind of doing on a whim, and now it's a full-time business. And before we keep going, I wanted to ask, guys, are you getting us clear on the other end? I know it sounded like we were having some technical difficulties. Is it glitching out and freezing? Please tell us in the comments. And Amy, I did not change my camera, but thank you. And I don't know if it's cutting out or not, but I think we are just going to keep going because I don't know if there's anything we can do about it if it is. So our next question, I came on your radar. I remember you going on that trip and that you were fundraising and giving out little canvases. And you did Christmas ornaments for a while, didn't you? Like
I did.
1,000 Christmas ornaments.
I feel like when I first started my business, I just wanted to do everything, like anything and everything I wanted to get my hands on. So did everything from wall canvases to wood signs to ornaments to really anything that I thought would just sell.
Yeah. I feel you, girl. That's how I am now still. I'm like, I just want to do it all.
Yes, so many of us doing that. So when did your niche kind of like completely change? I know you're still, it's not calligraphy. Is it when you paint, or is it still called calligraphy?
Yeah, so it's more technically, if we want to get technical about it, it's hand lettering and not true calligraphy.
Okay, well, I know that you started there and still do quite a bit of that, but when did you kind of transition from like the hand lettering signage home decor to now your like very narrowed down niche to weddings? And I think that we have some photos to show. I'm going to show the audience kind of what you used to do, and then I'm going to show them what you're doing now.
It's been a long time since I've seen the photos of the past Unspoken Designs, so from the past.
I had a fun time stalking your social media to find them, so I'm going to have Matt throw those up on the screen just to give the audience an idea of where you started so that they can see how far you've come. I've loved seeing you grow.
They are far in the archives at this point, I feel like.
Let's see. Is it up? Am I just not seeing it?
I don't see it.
It is not up yet.
Okay.
It might be glitching on the back end. So
Maybe.
he'll probably be able to bring it up a little later.
There we go.
Oh, there it is. Okay, so this is some of Unspoken Designs, Audrey's older work. I think this is adorable, and I also love that show. And then let's throw up some of the more. Oh yeah, there's another good one.
I love that.
I love that
I
one.
love that Harry Potter.
And then let's show them some of the exquisite modern things that you do for weddings.
Ooh.
Wow. Honestly, I need you to decorate my wedding. I need to go ahead and put it on your like wait list now. I know you're super busy.
I feel like we need to do like a resin hand lettering where you do resin and I can do the hand lettering.
Oh, this one, I can't imagine. How long did it take you? If you guys can see that entire pathway and behind them that they're standing on, she has hand lettered out and scribed herself by hand. How long did that take you?
That one was a beast. That one
it looks like
it looks amazing though. That's incredible.
20 hours total with my Sharpie on the floor. It was a beast.
Wait, how many hours?
I would say at least 20, maybe more.
Wow.
That's
Oh
amazing.
gosh.
Oh my God. So as you guys can see, Audrey does incredible wedding decor now. And she came from some very humble signage, which I still loved, but I think that the growth is absolutely incredible. So when did you make that transition and why?
Yeah, so I think I kind of transitioned over when I started realizing that I really wanted to pursue art as a career. And I felt like what I was doing, one, may not bring me joy every single day if I did it all day, every day. And two, wasn't really sustainable. I felt like even if I painted from sun up to sundown and sold everything I made, I probably wouldn't make enough to truly make a good living. So I felt like I needed to find some sort of business model that allowed me to be creative and allowed me to paint, but also like gave me a little bit of wiggle room, and I ended up paying the bills like at the end of the day, because we can all like make art and have fun, but we do have to make a living too. So I felt like that was the biggest driving factor onto why I decided to really narrow down my niche and to really like hone in on my skills and find a way to create that sustainable model.
Absolutely. And that's like realistic and like fantasy and dreams. Like we're all about inspiration, but you also have to be realistic when it comes to your business. And I love that you had the forethought early on to kind of look at that and say like, I can't make it work like this, but I can make it work. I absolutely love that. So what about needing to make that transition and knowing where you wanted to go, but not necessarily knowing how to get there? What attracted you to weddings?
So it's kind of, like I said, I feel like everything in my business kind of just flowed, and, you know, I learned as I went, and as things came up, I just tried to find new solutions for them. I had no prior knowledge to the wedding scene, to running a business, to really anything.
Yeah.
So I felt like when I kind of stumbled into weddings, it was somebody had asked, they saw my home decor signs, and they were like, hey, I really love your home decor stuff. Would you consider doing something for my wedding? And I was like, well, I've never done that before, but let's give it a shot. That sounds like fun. And so I created a whole suite of like welcome sign, seating chart. It was very like basic, probably you could search it on Pinterest and find the exact same thing that I made at that point. But she
beginnings.
Yes, she loved it, and I posted about it like on my own personal social media, and people were like, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea that you did weddings, but would you do my wedding?" And I'm like,
Wow.
well, I never thought about that or even knew that there was a market for that. But maybe I should consider it. So that's kind of just how I made that transition, and it was kind of just at first I was still like sticking with the home decor and just doing a couple weddings here and there as they would pop up and people would ask me. But then really felt like I tried to hone that in when I realized how much of a demand there was.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, I mean, there's always people getting married. There's like a plethora of clients. You'll never run out of clients because, I mean, you know, everybody.
Yeah. There will always be marriages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Amy,
yeah, exactly. Amy in the comments is saying weddings are just money. My mom has always taught me that. My mom always said one thing: there's always weddings and there are always funerals. I know they're very different things, but it's like an industry that always exists. That's wonderful that like you're in that. It's like you can always find anywhere you are in the world, you can find clients for weddings.
Yeah, and I also noticed it was really cool because, you know, when I was doing home decor signs, I would maybe make 1 or 2 signs for a client. Whereas when I was doing weddings, they would say, you know, I need 10 signs for this area, and I could design like a whole suite of things rather than 1 or 2 like one-off pieces. So kind of just like making bigger orders. And that was really attractive to me, to do less clients, bigger orders, longer turnover times, things like that.
Yeah. I mean, I think that is so smart. And having not broken into the wedding industry at all when you first broke into it, like I'm sure you were suddenly like, oh my gosh, like this is an unlimited market and nobody spends money like a bride.
Oh my gosh, you just have no idea. That people want it to be absolutely perfect, so they're willing to spend an extra dollar here and there.
I feel like also like your work is so personalized, beautiful, modern, elegant, and you get to have something that's completely yours. It's not just like a basic, not that there's basic weddings. All weddings are beautiful, but when you use decor from a artist, it's just, oh my gosh, elevated. I'm obsessed with her work. If you guys can't tell, I would like to have an unspoken wedding, please.
And then, can I say something real quick? Yeah. I just want to let everyone know, send in your comments if you have any questions for Audrey, because we are actually like copy and pasting them into our little private chat and we'll get to them. So definitely if you have a question, ask it so we can answer it.
Yeah, we've already grabbed a couple really good ones from Nash.
Yeah, and also, you guys know what happens when you guys comment. If you watch any other episode, even just one, y'all know at the end, somebody wins something. So ask those questions. We pick someone that interacts with us with questions. So
you heard the girls. So Audrey, I know that you have a really sustainable business model because you don't only make one-of-a-kind pieces that brides get to keep, you also create rental packages for your wedding decor. And that is so smart for a business because eventually once you've done enough weddings with an item, you've paid it off, so to speak, and then you're making pure profit. So what kind of led you into that? And I'm sure that was like a trial and error thing. And how much would you say percentage-wise is your inventory for purchase versus for renting? And how do you determine your prices?
Right. So that was another one of those things that kind of just happened. I had made my very first package of wedding signs and gave it to my client. And then I would say maybe 2 or 3 weeks after her wedding, I was just like perusing the Facebook marketplace as I do often. And my sign popped up and she was trying to sell it. And I mean, I wasn't even mad. Like, what are you going to do with this sign after your wedding? And I was like, maybe I should like have one of my friends go and buy it back and then I'll resell it. Kind of just like sparked the idea of maybe if I just had these generic signs that everybody wants, instead of having to remake them every single time, what if I had an inventory of them and people could rent them and then I'd get them back, and then I wouldn't have as much work on the back end, but still they could have it at a lower price. So that like really took off when I announced that I was doing that. I made a whole set of just rental signs and they were very basic. But I feel like people were just like, wow, I like really felt like this was a need, but there wasn't anyone to supply that need. And people were turning to Etsy and like spending all this money on stuff that they, at the end of their wedding, would just end up selling off to someone else. So it seemed to be really popular. And I started with just a very basic set. And I felt like, it was really important to me that I, just grew my rental inventory as I rented things out. So if something was really popular, made me a lot of money, I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can grow on that. I'll purchase a couple other things that just really match. And then I'll like be able to grow that rental set of items. So it was kind of just like a snowball. And then as trends would change, I would be like, well, I really feel like this sort of style would rent out really well. So let me purchase some of that. And it went from just like a little small room into my house to now like 3 storage units full of rental items.
That was insane.
It got out of control really fast.
But like in the best way, a business successfully out of control is a great business.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It was just in my house at first, and then it like started overtaking. It just like crept out of the room that was in. Just getting into every crevice of my home. So like, okay, well, it's time to like at least put this in storage somewhere.
Yeah. As someone who also started a business in her home, it really does just seep into every room. So transitioning flawlessly from a business out of control to work-life balance. I know this is something that we are all still learning, but how do you balance like a social life, a personal life? I know you have an awesome boyfriend and obviously a family you're close with, and then a booming business. How do you balance it? Because I know that you also do your own setup and stuff for the weddings. So I'm sure that's a big time suck. How do you balance?
Truthfully, like if I'm being 100% honest, I have not figured that out yet. So if y'all have any questions on how to do the work-life balance thing, please give them to me, because I'm the queen of just being a workaholic and saying yes to too many things and then overextending myself I'm the queen of that. So if you're in that same boat, just know you're not alone.
I love the honesty.
I think that like once you get into it a little bit more, and you know, I'm still learning. I've only had my business full time for about 2 years, so I feel like, but with that first 5 years, you just learn so much and figure out what your limits are. So yeah, that's the truthful answer. Maybe I'll figure it out someday.
We value the truth here at the Maker Meetup and appreciate the honesty because we definitely don't have it figured out either. And work-life balance is so difficult.
Yep.
But definitely important and something that you should prioritize. You know, that's definitely something that I'm trying to learn myself. And I feel like it's definitely really important to not let your business consume your whole life.
Absolutely. So when did you, I know that you started out small and now you're huge and busy. When did you know that you could make this full time? Like when did it hit you like, oh, like I can make it happen?
Yeah. Another truthful answer. I don't feel like I like had that aha moment where I felt like I could do it full time. I think I just kind of had to take that leap of faith and say, you know, if this flops, it flops. If it doesn't and it's awesome, then, you know, I'm glad I did it. But like I said, I was working in the medical field prior to this. So making that leap was just a total switch. And I kind of started thinking that I could do it sustainably when I started doing the rental pieces.
Yeah.
And that felt sustainable to me. But like I said, I feel like it's different for everyone. I was, you know, not married or had kids. And so like making that leap of faith may have been a lot easier for me because I didn't really have anybody depending on me. Whereas if someone did have someone depending on their income, they might have a bit harder time making that leap. So
yeah,
I think it was just kind of like right place, right time for me. I just finished college. I was in a job that I didn't love. So it just kind of was like, you know, I'll try this. I have a good fallback plan if it doesn't work. And then here we are 2 years later.
I feel like figuring out that rental process was such a big game changer for you. And a quick like freebie tip for our resin artists out there, an awesome rental opportunity for you guys, because it might feel like, oh, well, I make like one of a kind art. That's so hard to like find a rental opportunity for that. Actually, home staging is a really big market for rental art, and you can put together art packages for cohesive looks in homes, and you can reach out to realtors, rental companies, like hotels and apartments, and that's an awesome market to breach into. Ani, you have something to add?
I did not know this is a thing. My dad is a broker.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
I have a pick the bone with my dad. Is that the saying? Baba.
Just to try and follow if you're looking for some business optimization.
Awesome.
I almost did some of that when I first started and ended up not doing it, but it was a really good opportunity that I turned down for external reasons. So you guys should definitely follow some leads on that and look locally and non-locally because you can ship for those opportunities.
I would say even just to like chime in there, even if it's not like rentals, I feel like, you know, the biggest part of my business was doing something that gave me a little bit of passive income so I could put more time and effort on the things that I really enjoyed. Maybe it's not rentals, maybe it's selling, you know, SVG files for people like with Crickets or whatever. I feel like there's a lot of avenues for that. And that gives you just a little bit more time to focus and really like put your time and effort into the things that you do love while still having that other piece as well.
Absolutely. That is awesome advice. So how do you plan? I know that weddings are just like crazy. So how do you plan ahead for less popular wedding seasons financially? And then how do you plan ahead for the busy seasons mentally?
Yeah, so it is kind of weird. The market with weddings is you have a couple months of the year that are just incredibly busy, and then a couple months of the year that you just get nothing. Get nothing is kind of, I say that loosely. You're still planning ahead towards the other pieces, but the bulk of weddings happen like fall, beginning of summer, those type of springtime. So you definitely have to be prepared to have that big boom. And I feel like in the off season, I really just try to come up with new things and prep for the weddings that I know I have coming up. I feel like a ton of the off season is just planning, because for me, doing weddings, I take on clients for about a year at a time. So they'll come to me at the beginning of their planning, and we'll work through all their design. And then, their event will happen a year later. So for me, it's a lot of just like juggling clients and making sure everybody's taken care of, and that like I have time to actually design their pieces and execute. So I feel like it's kind of changed over the years. When I was doing home decor, that was more of a year-round thing. So when I started doing weddings, it definitely was kind of an adjustment period for me. And I had no knowledge of the wedding scene prior to doing this business. So I'd never been married myself. It would just feel like I was working. So I feel like I need to do something completely different at this point.
Honestly, I love that. Okay, so I know you do I know you are the superstar of networking. You know so many people, and especially the wedding industry, especially like locally to each area, is so well connected, and so they communicate a lot, and everybody knows everybody. And being a social networker is important because lots of people give out recommendations to their brides, and that can lead to new business opportunities. How has networking influenced your success from when you started to now?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy. I feel like the wedding scene, and this is probably the truth in any city, is just its own little world. And it's kind of fun. We actually do like fake weddings all the time.
I love your fake weddings.
That's kind of how I get a ton of my content. Starting out, I don't do them as much anymore, but when I was trying to get my name out there, there's tons of just like styled shoots or fake weddings that are great for like networking and just getting really good content photos. So we would set up these, just like have models come in and like have a full shebang, like it was a full wedding, but nobody actually got married at the end. So, yeah, my very first styled shoot was actually with Amber and Iris from Married at First Sight, and that was a ton of fun.
Oh my god. That's insane.
Yes, that was a ton of fun.
Well, I watched that season with them specifically because it was in Charlotte where I live, and I saw them in your photo, and I was like, do I know them? I recognize them.
Yes, it was.
And then it hit me, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, neither of them actually ended up staying with their spouses, so we were like, let's put you guys in like black dresses and do like a whole like divorce thing, and it was really fun.
It's like a moody goth wedding, and I love that these styled shoots can like break outside of the normal wedding look and explore new styles. Right. Not like everyone's actually getting married, and oh my gosh, I love the styled shoots. I want to come and experience one.
I'll let you come be a model, and we can get you fit.
Oh my goodness, make my boyfriend fall all over himself, see me in a wedding dress. So, all right, we are coming up on our last questions. We're going to turn over to the audience for a Q&A, and we have been writing down your questions, so we already have some locked and loaded and ready to go.
They are so good.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are on point. These are like...
Me and Kelly have been like in the back. We've been like racing to see who gets these questions. We have a list. Kelly gave up. She was like,
Ani was faster, so I'm like, okay, you got this.
Yeah, they're killing it on the back end, throwing them in the private message. What were you going to say? Hey,
we have to ask this question. Like, have you ever had a bridezilla? And what did you do?
Yeah. Everybody was excited about this question. So let's do that first, and we'll go all through the other ones.
We have one more question before we turn it over to Q&A, and we're going to hit that bridezilla question first. But the last question for Audrey is, if you could go back and do it all over again, what would you do differently from the start, and give your best advice for our audience looking to grow like you have?
Right. Yeah. Like, I feel like my best advice that I can give for someone that is starting off is just understanding that starting a business is much more than just your specific craft. Like, there's so much more that goes into it rather than just, painting things. You have to worry about like selling it and then doing all the back end stuff. So just never being afraid to ask for help, because you are the master of your own craft, but you don't have to be the master of everything business-wise. So, like, if you need to reach out to somebody and ask questions on something that you may not have tons of knowledge on, I don't feel like there's anything wrong with that. I felt like when I first started, I kind of just wanted to do everything. I wanted to do my taxes, and I wanted to make my website, and I wanted to do like literally everything.
Isn't that draining? Isn't that draining? Like being the one woman show? Because we've talked about this a lot on a lot of our episodes. It's so difficult to be able to do all of it. Like you can't master. Eventually you need a little bit of help.
Right. And I feel like there's nothing wrong with reaching out for help. And just like knowing your limits and not overextending yourself. I'm still learning that one, but definitely knowing like when to say no and what projects are worth it, because you can always say no. No is not a bad word. And
it's a full sentence. No is a full sentence.
I'm like telling that to myself as it's coming out of my mouth, because I believe that too. I'm like the queen of saying yes to everything. So just knowing when to say no, and like your own personal joy, mental health, that is all much more important than your business. So just knowing all of those things I think is super important. So I don't know if that kind of just answered the question or not. I think that was perfect.
I love that. Okay, I know everyone's been waiting for it, so please tell us a story.
I would say I've actually had more momzillas than I have bridezillas.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I saw that coming.
A mama on her daughter's wedding day is a whole nother creature. And they are much more in the details. So I have run across a couple of those. And that's been definitely interesting. As being a person that like really hates conflict, it's been like really interesting for me to navigate when someone comes and has a complaint about something, and or like there's so many details that go into a wedding day. So sometimes the things that go wrong may have nothing to do with me, but I'll get the brunt end of it. So dealing with those things, but just also understanding that it's such like an emotionally charged day. So many emotions flying everywhere, and just trying to let it roll off. But yes, I have definitely had some of those.
As artists, as resin artists, and as business owners, just in general, I should say business artists, not resin artists, we deal with pretty much our own kind of bridezillas. We have our clients that want customs, or just somebody that buys, something that's available online, or a bridezilla that will come attack us on one of our posts for just because they're not having it that day or something like that. Right. Is there any advice you could give us a little bit on like how you can kindly deal with that in a professional way, so that it doesn't turn into something bigger, but in a way where you can like hold your ground and your business, respect yourself, and set your boundaries, kind of a thing?
Right. I definitely feel like having boundaries with people is super important. I feel like when I first started my business, I kind of like my own personal boundaries and my business boundaries were kind of too closely intertwined. And so when someone would insult my business, I would take it as like a personal insult. Yeah. Whereas now I've gotten a little bit like tougher skin at this point, realizing that that's just the nature of it. And just letting things roll off. Still not the best at it, but definitely learning.
Absolutely. And I've gotten to talk you guys' ears off, so I'm actually going to pass the Q&A to my lovely co-hosts and let you guys throw the audience some of those questions that we missed while we were going over the questions with Audrey. And we will be picking out your questions from the comments live too, so keep throwing them in there. Kelly, take it away.
Yay! Okay, so this was like the very first question that I saw like at the very start of the episode. But Nash said, what do you do when you make a mistake? And I think it was during the time when you had that like Sharpie crazy thing going on.
But seriously, what if you mess up like right in the middle?
I would love to
spell something wrong.
I would love to say that it's just an easy fix, but I would be lying if I said I haven't remade things, especially doing tons of things with words and like staring at a piece. I feel like I get more focused into the details. Sometimes I like mess up some words or spell things wrong, and I won't notice until like the very end. I'm like, wow, that's really not how that's spelled. And at that point, there's just truthfully nothing you can do but start from scratch. So I have had several late nights where, I screwed something up and had to remake it. But, I guess you have to be thankful that you noticed it before you sent it somewhere and it ended up on somebody's wedding day and someone's like, ew, who named that? That word is spelled wrong.
That's the worst. I can't spell. I'm not a horrible speller, but I literally will Google everything.
Yeah.
Everything. I'm not
Good
a
thing
horrible
for autocorrect.
but, I don't trust autocorrect, y'all. Sometimes I'll type something and I autocorrect and I'll send it to Kelly and it'll give me a completely different word.
Yeah.
So Google.
Yeah, it's definitely happened, especially like if you're working long hours. By the end of it, you're just like, I'm gonna paint this, but I'm actually half asleep. And then you wake up the next morning and look at it, and you're like, that didn't look as good as I thought it did when I went to bed last night.
Yeah, it happens. It happens.
Yep, it does. So.
But even then, I think sometimes even those moments, your artwork and the pieces you've made are still so incredible just in your head. I think as artists, we get in our head and we think like, oh, it's not my best. But when everybody else looks at it, they're like, holy crap, like this is incredible.
Right.
It just sometimes we judge ourselves.
I feel like as an artist, you are your own worst critic. So you look at the piece and you think it's terrible, but then your client will be absolutely in love with it. So just like maybe you looked at it for too long and it just you
starts to blur.
found all the imperfections of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Shall we move on to another question?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So we have Rhonda that asked, says, do you have a network of other small businesses and vendors that you work for weddings? And if so, how do you recommend them to clients? So this is kind of like when we talk about working with partnerships and different companies for our products and stuff. So how do you, if you have different like vendors and businesses and things, how do you know how to like specifically give, the recommendations to your specific clients for their needs?
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like there's definitely people that you just click with and you like their work, they like your work, and it's just natural that you recommend them to people just because, personally, if you do, they're going to do a great job on the back end. It's been really fun with weddings because, I feel like everybody has their own specialty. So, I do the signage piece of things, whereas like I have a lot of great florist friends where I could never do what they do, but their work complements my work. And when we work together, it just makes something completely beautiful. So I feel like I've definitely, you definitely find people that you work best with. I now actually share an office with a really good friend that's a florist, and her and I take clients on together. So we kind of like sometimes do like package deals and things like that, which is really fun. And I definitely I feel like there's more creators in your area than you realize. Like when I first started doing it, I really felt like there wasn't anybody around that did the same thing, but lo and behold, like there's just tons and tons of people. So definitely networking is an awesome tool. I feel like when you have your own small business, it can be kind of lonely. So having like people around you that you can bounce ideas off of and
the maker meetup.
Exactly.
That's of this thing. Like I think it's awesome. Yeah.
Do you find that when you're working with like these other companies and people can come get a package deal with you guys for more than one item they need for their event? They can get a couple of things done with you so that they have to deal with less people. Does it make it easier for you guys to get that? Like, because you guys have a partnership and they could get more than,
Yeah, I definitely think it's incredibly appealing to people because then I work with the florist and we come up with our design together. So our pieces just look like they go together. Whereas if you hired somebody that I don't know and they just show up on the day of and I show up with my stuff, who knows if it's going to work together or not. So I feel like that's like incredibly appealing to people because they know that it's just going to come out flawless and you have everything planned down to a T. And so having those partnerships, I think is really profitable for you. Not only like do you get those types of things where you can do package deals, but then you also have someone else that's promoting your business to people because they don't do what you do. So
yeah, that makes sense. That's amazing.
Yeah,
very smart business tactic.
Yeah, I don't know what you guys could do as far as like resin. What kind of people do you guys work with in the resin world?
Oh gosh,
I mean,
there's so many.
Everybody. With people that make tools, with pigments, with resin, we work with each other, collabs, woodworkers. Everything.
contractors.
I feel like some of you guys do like those big tables. Ronnie, I know you did a huge table.
Yeah, that thing was massive.
So cool. I'm sure you definitely have to collaborate with people to make those big projects work.
Yeah. I have woodworkers that help me when I'm like new to something, because I'm not scared to try something new, but I won't try something new for the first time on a commission order just because that's irresponsible to my client. So I have woodworkers that help me out. For that table, I had to do bow ties. I almost called them butterflies because that's a little bit bow ties, and it was the first time I was doing them, so I had a woodworker help me out, and it was nice to like connect.
That's awesome. Yeah, just one thing to like piggyback off of that. One thing as far as commissions go that I've really learned is people don't know everything about your craft, so sometimes you have to give them ideas. And I felt like a huge part of my business that helped me like really steer into my niche was giving people those ideas. So if someone would come to me and send me a screenshot on Pinterest and say, "Can you make this?" I'd be like, "Yes, I can make this, but have you thought about maybe we could do this, this, and that instead?" Which would be like more my style. Mm-hmm. And sometimes they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, I never even thought to do that. That's a great idea."
Mm-hmm. Sometimes the client doesn't know what they want. Like they have an idea, but when you talk to them and you listen to them and you're like, "Okay, but this is what you're saying. This is what you're showing me." Sometimes they don't understand. Like sometimes it's difficult for people to. Not difficult, but I think sometimes people don't understand the vision that they really want. Mm-hmm. And then when you show them, like, "Oh no, yes, that you're right. That's exactly what I want." So showing them that kind of different ideas, I think, is awesome.
I think that kind of goes.
Yeah, that tied in so perfectly with what
Julie
asked. And Monica had asked what the process of aligning your creative vision with your client's vision was. And I think that's perfect that you take their inspiration and say like, "Hey, like what if we did this?" That is an awesome way to collaborate with your clients.
Yeah. I think that's been really like, I feel like at the beginning, you kind of just, when you first start your business, just to have consistent business, you really do just have to say yes to everything. But when you're starting to narrow down your artistic style and the things that you like, it's kind of easy to, if someone comes to you with an idea, to say, kind of steer them in the direction that you want them to go. And a lot of the times, like you said, that's the direction they were thinking all along, but they just couldn't visualize it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then, okay, I have a question, and you guys can totally like shoot this down, but would you guys want to do like a rapid fire like session? Because we have some like really cool questions, and I want to like get through all of them. Okay. And they're like so good.
Kelly, so this is you're saying this, so you're doing this. So
okay.
You know, I messaged all those questions.
Oh, I got them. I just need to scroll up. Okay. So quick question. Is oh my gosh.
The one with
what is the biggest wedding item that you have done? Was it that aisle runner that was shown? That was from Monica.
Yeah, so I actually made a dessert wall. It was like a 10-foot wall with shelves on it, and I like partnered with the caterer, and they did like cotton candy and all this different stuff on this massive wall. I did like a total retro theme on it. And it was really fun. And I loved it and hated it. It was huge and a beast, and I didn't have room for it anywhere in my studio. So
no.
It was definitely a challenge, but it was a lot of fun. I think
we need pictures of that. Can you send us pictures so we can put it on our stories afterwards on the Maker Meetup?
Yeah.
Was that the wedding that had a Ferris wheel?
Yes, yeah, that wedding was totally insane. They
that is so crazy.
They had a Ferris wheel, and they had like a whole like carnival theme for their wedding. It was so awesome.
That's so fun. That's fun.
The person had money.
They did. It's definitely fun working with those clients that just have endless funds to do like all of the really cool stuff, and so that's always a really good time.
All right, next question.
Okay, Haley, do you want to take this next question?
I'm so in our private chat. I don't know where you saw that.
I have a question. I want this question answered too. So Wanda asks, what did you find was the best way to advertise? Because I know that all of us would love that. So
yeah, so
I don't know how you do that.
Definitely social media is like pretty much all I do for advertising and word of mouth. But like Instagram is a great tool, using hashtags, obviously. For me, it was a little bit different because when I first started and I was doing rentals, I had to make sure my stuff was reaching people in my area since I don't travel outside of my area to do rentals. So making sure that was narrowed down. I do a little bit have a farther reach at this point, but you know, you can run ads on Instagram, which is a great tool. And
So
definitely
do you so that's basically geo tagging. So when you run an ad, you guys, on Facebook or on Instagram, it actually will ask you things like, who do you want your audience to be? Do you want Instagram to pick your audience, or do you want to pick a specific city? Now, if you're doing like a market or an event, or like Audrey, if you're doing weddings and you need to be in a specific city, like if I live in LA and I don't run wedding events in New York isn't going to help me. So what you do is you geo tag. So you tell it exactly what city dimensions you want the advertisement to go, and it will reach just that specific area. So if you have a market going on in your city, in your town, and you want to throw some ads out, great way to advertise.
Yeah, that was definitely helpful at the beginning of my business, running those ads and just like getting my name out there. I did do like a ton of free work at the beginning, which sucks, but I feel like when you start a business, it's just how it goes.
It helps.
And yeah, doing all those networking things, all of that is great advertisement.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Haley, I think Haley's locked and loaded on our next question.
Yeah.
I found one I like, so I'm going to ask it. So Sparkle and Ice asked, did you ever have someone not return something that they rented from you, and how did you handle that?
Yeah, I mean, I've had things come back late, and I've also had things come back broken. But I feel like you just have to cover yourself in contracts and signatures and making sure people understand completely that if it doesn't come back and if it's broken, that you have to pay for it outright, which nobody really wants to do, and I think scares people enough to bring it back. So I haven't had that much issues with it. Like up until this point, but definitely stuff getting broken is more common than it being not returned.
Do you have any like insurance on your pieces for these events?
I do, yes. And like I work a lot with glass. Like I have a lot of my rental inventory is glass, like vases and votives and things along those lines. So I definitely have some just to protect myself in case that happens. But I feel like determining whether it was like their fault or if it was just wear and tear, those types of things when deciphering what to do there.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Kelly had our next question ready to go.
Yes, I'm ready. Nash actually has like 2 back-to-back questions that were
Nash
really
is
good.
killing it on the question.
Right.
Nash, we see you, honey. By the way,
Yeah.
you guys, Monica's here, and I think she figured out today. She was saying earlier, I think that was you, that you said, "Oh my God, I figured out how to comment." And hello, hi Monica.
Yay. Hello.
Sorry, had to.
No, you're good. So this one from Nash. Let's see here. What time frame do you give yourself to show the bride the final product prior to the wedding? And have you ever had a bride change the design last minute? How would you recommend dealing with that, professional as well as the cost?
Yeah, that's a great question. I feel like, people do book with me like a year in advance. So as they start planning their wedding, their design evolves. I definitely try and protect myself by making it super clear that you have to know exactly, like we have to have everything nailed down by X date. I usually do like 2 months out before the wedding. Everything has to be completely finalized. And I used to just do like, they would tell me what they want, and then I would do like a mock-up design and have them approve it. And now that I'm doing a little bit more of full design for weddings, it's a little bit harder to do that. And I feel like it takes a lot of trust on the bride's end, just in your business. And that's been kind of crazy to see just how much people trust you and kind of let you run with your creative freedom. I feel like I get that more often than not. Like, I don't really know what I want and I don't really care, but everything you do is beautiful. So just like do your thing. And that's really fun. You definitely do get those picky people that can't decide on anything. But I think just definitely being very clear on deadlines and saying, by this date, we have to have this finalized, and by this date, we have to have XYZ finalized, and not really giving that wiggle room for change. Because I feel like if you just leave it open and people think that they have the opportunity to change, then they'll like capitalize on that and say, I just saw this piece, can I add it in? Or like, I want to go in this different direction, can we change it? It just gives them more ideas to pick from. So just being very clear.
Isn't it something like the bride world where they say when you find a dress that you like and you decide on you buy, stop looking, because you'll always find something else that you like always. It'll change. Your style will change. You'll see. You're like, oh, but this, I love this. I love this. So it's like when it's done, it's done. So you have to kind of put your boundaries in. When somebody puts an order with you about something, it's like it's set, it's done. You have your deposit. You're done. That's it. No more changes.
Right.
Kind of that kind of, especially because with weddings, it's huge stuff. Not like tiny. It's not something small. It's a big event. It's one of the biggest events of their life. So it's like, you don't tell me, that's it. So we get it out nice and clear on time.
Yeah, I definitely feel like when speaking to people that are purchasing things for like an event, you have to just give them the options and let them pick from the options. Because if you give them too many things to decide from, they'll become very indecisive and change their mind many times. So just being like, these are your options. We need to pick and have a decision by this day.
Yeah, absolutely. So we had this question came in a little while ago and I wanted to bring it back. Somebody asked how you manage your bookings and they said it seems really stressful, which I bet it is. And I remember on your story, maybe a month ago or so, you were scrolling through 300 leads of people reaching out, asking you to be a part of their wedding. How do you manage that?
It is definitely very stressful. I ended up having to shut my website down for a while because things got a little out of hand. But
congratulations!
Yeah,
that's a good problem to have.
But definitely just I try to have a toggle system where I get an initial lead, and within X amount of time of the lead coming in, they need to have reached out to me at least once. I'll set up a phone call with them, and just really prioritizing having things on a calendar. And like I said, always feeling like you can say no is good too. So when you're full and you're booked, then you're booked and you can't take on anything else. So that's definitely been a challenge and things that I've been working through myself. But I use a back-end system that has all of that scheduled out for me, which is incredibly helpful. I started using pen and paper, but that quickly became not an option anymore. So having a good back-end system is great.
Yeah, I bet that's insane, especially because for weddings, they're usually planned so far in advance. I cannot imagine how organized you have to be like, okay, well, I'm approaching a deadline for a wedding that's in 6 months. Yeah. I would be so stressed out.
I'm not a very organized person, so I had to hire somebody to be the organized mind for me, which has been incredibly helpful. So one of those things that I knew that I wasn't great at and had to put somebody else in to be a little bit more organized than I am.
Absolutely. And Haley's got our last question, which we're going to answer real quick, and then we're going to wrap up our episode. I know it's gone by so fast. We want to answer them all, but we just don't have the time. So Haley, give us our last question.
I don't know if we have time for a last question.
We'll do real quick.
I was going to do something better, though, and announce the giveaway winner.
We're going to do that after. Last question.
Okay.
I'm excited. I love these questions.
One more question. It can be a fast one from TK. She said, do you travel and install the larger pieces yourself, or do you just take on local weddings for bigger projects?
Yeah, so I usually only do local weddings for my rental pieces, but I do ship custom pieces nationwide. So if somebody just wanted custom pieces from me, they can always still order from me and I'll ship it to them. It would be the dream to travel and do weddings all over the country, but maybe someday.
Awesome. I love that.
We're not going to say maybe one day.
One day.
It will happen soon. Yes, it will happen soon. And when it does, we're all going to find out because we're all going to be following you on Instagram.
Absolutely.
And we're going to all be following Audrey after this. So
yes.
All right, you guys.
Bless you.
Oh my goodness, sorry. I thought I was going to sneeze. Anyways, I'm going to answer all those awesome questions from our audience, and I'm going to turn it over to Ani, and she's got some announcements for us.
Yes. All right, guys. So I really can't believe that today is our 4th and last episode of this season, but we still have some couple of weeks and a lot of fun stuff that's coming in. So first episode, we told you guys that you have an 8-week challenge, which is a season challenge for you guys to push yourselves, make the biggest project or the most detailed project, and for you to be able to just honestly just push yourself out of your boundary to be able to step up to the next level. Now, the 8 weeks is going to be, I'm looking at my calendar, is going to be the 31st. Now, we're going to want you guys to go ahead and go to the same group we created in the beginning of the season and go ahead and comment and post a picture of your final product, type a description of what you did, everything you did, all the details, all the good stuff, so we can all support you guys. So you're going to post it on the 31st of August.
Or before then.
I'm sorry?
Or before.
Or before.
The 31st.
Yeah, sorry. The deadline is the 31st of August. And on September 3rd, on the Maker Meetup Instagram, we are going to announce that winner. And in a few days, we will actually also announce the amazing prizes that the winner is going to get. I know that a lot of you guys have been, posting updates on them. And oh my God, we are so excited.
Amazing.
You guys have been pushing so hard out of your boundaries. We are so proud of you guys. So again, this is going to be a very big win. I'm very excited. Stop laughing at me.
No, I'm laughing at Rhonda. She just said, see, I told you guys I would wait till the last week to start this.
Listen, let me tell y'all something. If you can do 8 weeks worth of work in 1 week,
that's how I got through college. So I believe in you guys.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. You guys can do this. We're so excited. So we will put more details in the next couple of days about everything we want you to post on the Maker Meetup website page. Remember, if you're not signed up, guys, it's free. It's just themakermeetup.com. It's free to join. We put groups there all the time that we can talk about different subjects. You can post and ask, your colleagues and our community about any kind of advice you need for any kind of project, anything, social media, all the fun stuff. So make sure you join, and more details coming soon, but we can't wait to see everything you guys are making. So
yes. And Haley, you've got something for our audience as well.
So you guys know I'm like the logistics person of the team.
Yeah.
We always do a winner every episode that is going to win a Moss gift card. I believe it's $100. I'm just going to say it. It is now. And then a Moss apron. And so we have a winner. We already picked her in the private chat. It is Nash.
Nash is special to our heart. We're so happy to see all your awesome questions this episode. Thank you so much for being so engaged in the comments. And then we also have a coupon code for all the other people who didn't win.
Yes. So the coupon code is the code Unspoken, and that's just to honor our awesome guest Audrey that we have on. We can probably put it up on the screen here if Matt is in the back end. It will give you and your affiliate customers 20% off plus free shipping on the Moss Epoxies website, and that will last until a week from today. So the upcoming Tuesday, it'll end at midnight. And this is the code that you guys love because you can use it to push your affiliate link so you guys can get a commission. That's all I've got.
That looks so pretty, by the way. That little pop-up.
Yeah, that's so nice. Matt, right on time for 9
blowing it out of the water today with all the visual effects and all the cool videos and the pop-ups. And can we have some clapping hand emojis in the comments for Matt saying thank you, Matt, for all the love you've given us this season. Thank you for everything.
Throw some thanks in the comments as well for Audrey. Audrey, thank you so much for joining us today. Your information is invaluable to us. And you are such an honored guest for us to have, not just because I love you since we are childhood friends, but also that your business knowledge is invaluable. And I hope that people got to learn a lot from you today. Guys, you can find her at Unspoken Designs on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. If you've got a wedding coming up, I know Jess was fangirling in the comments over your wedding decor.
Yes.
Yes, it was.
But we are going to officially sign off. So Audrey, just tell everyone your name and thank you so much for being here.
Yes, it's been awesome to be here. Definitely find me on Instagram at Unspoken Designs, Facebook, TikTok, the whole nine. So I hope that we can all connect again here in the future.
Absolutely. And I'm Roni at RLL Designs. Oh, and next week we're having movie night on Tuesday. I forgot to mention that. So join us for movie night. Details will be up on our social media, and we'll be selecting a movie, and I'm going to put up a poll to get your input on what you want to watch. Kelly.
Hey, I don't know why I did that so awkwardly. What a hey. I'm Kelly. You can find me at KellyBelly62, or you can also find me at Creatively Kelly. Yeah, I'm stoked. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, my name's Haley from Artist Haley Nolan, and you can find me there on Instagram using this. And then I have all my links in the link in my bio, and then I'll throw it over to Annie.
Hey guys, Annie from Annie's Art Studio. I love you guys. Guys, this has been such an amazing season. We love you guys. This has been amazing. I'm Annie's Art Studio. Anywhere you search me, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. We love you guys. Moss loves you guys. The Maker Meetup loves you guys. Audrey loves you guys. Ronnie loves you guys. Kelly loves you guys. Haley loves you guys.
Yes, we do.
We can't wait to see you for movie night next week. Good night.
Awesome.
You guys
Thanks,
guys.
guys.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.